Thank you so much for your company. Now, a 13-year-old girl who says she witnessed how some policemen were killed in Budumburam told Joy News she and some colleagues were in a shop when a police vehicle and a private car pulled up at around 1 p.m. One of the policemen, she says, got out of the car and slapped the driver of the private vehicle. After the slap, she says that he told the officer that he was taking some money from his car. Let's hear more from her.
Shania was told me no police car ni private car be bejina asina police nini see no bisa papa ni said no.
Well, she says a police vehicle and then a saloon car actually pulled up here in front of their shop and a DNC here. Cars number parking one DNC here.
No police nini bo papa nasu.
She says the policeman stepped out of the car and then slapped one of the occupants of the vehicle. One and
Obo driver nasu.
And I DNC here.
No papa ni kaso ojini sika waka nimno. Of faith to no issue to police unity.
The driver who we are told was slapped by the police officer, told the police officer that he wants to take money from his car, but he did not pull out money. He actually went in there and pulled a gun and then subsequently shot the police officer in the head. And it turned back on board and answered it.
No, they police no, I have no rust on him, no more jaffing, no more ban or rust on him, no catch young Kutsonia say 20 Becca and I could to fridge nature.
Okay, well, she says that when the police officer was shot in the head, blood started oozing out of his mouth, so he rushed into a shop which is just some meters away from this place, rushed and then entered the shop. And she was a police officer on the catch so Munkoto. Well, she says the police officer asked them to go down. I didn't know Okato so Munkoto.
Should not person save your life.
In an act of bravery, the police officer who had been shot told the 13-year-old girl and another child who were in the shop that they should go down, otherwise they can be hit by a bullet. In certain no way.
No way. Na mini boy ne fiston him na e ka small boy we na papa ni sambe ra no yi small boy ni to abontina osan so shoot to police ni bio.
Well, she's saying that as the police officer rushed to the shop here, she stepped out, but there was a boy who was inside the shop. The occupants of the vehicle, the driver of the private vehicle, went back and then shot the police officer again whilst he was inside the shop. So at that point, Indian is here.
No, when Papa Nuka ni kanim na mimi beji na asena miki kem microphone nanti Papa ni.
You heard an eyewitness of that incident. Well, security expert and executive director of the Center for Democratic Transition, Colonel Festus Abwaja, retired, has condemned the state for its failure to adequately equip the police service in the line of duty. He spoke earlier on News Desk.
The state is being derelict of its responsibilities to equip the personnel of the security institutions to do their job. We've been talking about this situation in the north, some parts of the north. What we're not being told is that of the military and police deployed, they don't have fuel. Let me also argue that it is not correct that the police had never had equipment. It is just that each time security institutions send their budgets through their respective ministries to Parliament, they are told that you're looking for X million. We cannot give you X million. We're going to give you 8,000. So the police go back and manage with whatever it is that the state has put at their disposal. So the state itself must recognize that without security, our economic development, is going to be seriously challenged. If police work is only about reacting after the fact, we'll always be chasing shadows. The police need to proactively find criminals, find illegal weapons, and recover them, and charge some and send some to prison. So the question of resources may be an issue, but all of us wake up every morning without sufficient resources. So we are able to set our priorities and balance the resources and apportion whatever money, time, energy to certain of these activities that we must conduct on a daily basis. I say it's leadership. I have to keep mentioning leadership. You say it, because there is nobody else to hold accountable for what is happening than the leadership of the police.
Meanwhile, the Director General in charge of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Eklu, says the service has taken delivery of some protective gear for personnel to protect them in the line of duty. He spoke on Joy FM's Newsnight program.
They were MTG officers, and in an attempt to stop those occupants of the vehicle from driving recklessly, they were shot and killed in that dastardly manner.
They were not armed, were they, the officers?
No, the officers were not armed. They are routine traffic police officers.
Should I assume that these people you've arrested were those found who were driving this vehicle recklessly?
For now, they've been arrested on suspicion, and the headquarters is supporting the Central Regional Police Command in further investigation. So for now, they have been arrested as our initial action as suspects in this case.
So earlier reports indicated that these persons who shot and killed the police officers were armed robbers. Has it been established that they are not?
No, we haven't established any fact beyond what we have stated in our statement that we are holding them as suspects. We don't have any further information as this stage. Yeah, we stated in the statement that the officers spotted them driving recklessly, and in an attempt to stop them, they opened fire on the officers, killing 2 of the MTGD officers.
This is not the first time in the last at least 1 week that a police officer has been shot dead in the line of duty. This must come to the police service as very disturbing time indeed. I know you're already trying to deal with the other incidents that happened last week.
Yes, these are certainly very difficult times, and these are not very pleasant moments for police officers, law enforcement officers who are on duty, lawfully assigned duties to protect life and property. It is quite a disturbing issue. But the Inspector General of Police has sent word to police officers to remain committed despite the dangers that we face. These are very touching moments, especially for the families whose loved ones were set out to go and defend or protect life and property, and they ended up being victims. The Inspector General of Police is already in touch with the families. The Central Regional Police Commander, who is part of this conference, has already left to the Central Region and to join the other officers there, so that the first point of call will be the families, so that we can give them the necessary psychosocial support and any other support as per our police procedures. But there are also measures in place to make sure that we get to the bottom of this incident. Incidentally, we are currently having a National Police Command Conference in Sogakofe, where all the 16 regional commanders, including the members of the Police Management Board, are here deliberating on issues such as this. It was announced today that we have taken delivery of 4,500 body armors, and the distribution will begin immediately after this conference. The commanders have asked that they should bring their storekeepers to start collecting them so that they can be distributed to patrol officers or officers who are performing frontline duties. So that is what we have now. It's encouraged that government has given us. And the minister in the statement today also indicated that there are other more resources that we should expect.
Now, Director of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Dr. Kwesi Enin, has also called for military support to deal with threats on the police. He spoke on the AM show with Kojo Youngson.
About 3 years ago, or less than that, maybe, there was a lot of fanfare about a strategic plan, and also point strategic plan. Okay?
Yeah.
How much money have we put in for? How has that impacted on recruitment, on operational planning, on operational effectiveness, on designing and developing performance contracts and performance variables, so we can say this is the ICP, and this is what men and women go out and deliver, that he can then tell the people of Ghana and the Parliamentary Committee on Interior and Defense but we have allowed it to slide over time. In the last 5 years, the number of attacks against police officers, their killings against their stations, have just been brushed under the carpet. So much so that an average officer on the beat is not sure whether he or she is going to come from safety. Look, the danger that the Ghana Police Service needs, and by extension, the society, is that we need an open conversation about getting policing back to where it ought to be, providing the logistics. And I found it very interesting this morning, or the last, that they were bragging that they've got 4,000 body armor. This is not information that ought to be put in the public domain. But the service itself, desperate and confused, thought by putting that in the public domain, it will serve as a deterrent. Unfortunately not. If you go body armor, now they go for the head. Okay, so there are things that we all need to have the conversation around. Proving the discipline, the logistics, the way they protect themselves using the institutional meddling in the performance of their duties, and then providing a checkable criteria of performance and delivery. But really, right now, we are in crisis. When you lift up arms against representatives of the state, particularly those who wear the uniform, it is no more an ordinary crime. More often than not, it is the military that should come in to respond. So there are, as I said, several issue areas that we...
Let's head to Budumburam now. Maxwell Agbaba is there for us. Maxwell, you went first to the Kaswa police station where the two policemen, we are told, worked. But you're at Budumburam now. Tell us what you've been able to find.
Well, Dennis, earlier we were at the Kaswa police station, as you rightly mentioned. There we met some police officers who were getting ready to move the suspects from their custody to the crime scene and also to their homes for a search to be conducted. Well, what we saw at the Kaswa police station was heartbreaking, because you could clearly see from the faces of the police officers that, morale was down. You could tell that they've been hurt by the incident, and they've been, for want of a better word, shaken by what has happened. Some of them that we spoke to actually told us that they've never seen or never heard of an incident like this, where two police officers from the same police station have gone on operation and have been killed by civilians. Well, what they told us was that they would not be able to clearly give us details about the incident that happened, because the Inspector General of Police is coming on the ground. We told that he will be at the family house of one of the officers, very soon. So they clearly couldn't, give us details. But you could see them gathered, in groups discussing the incident. For some people who had come there to the Kaswa police station also to report some domestic issues, they simply couldn't go and, put down their reports. A lot of them stood in shock as they, commiserated with the police officers. Now, back at Budumburam, the crime scene, when we went there, we spoke to a 13-year-old girl who told us that she witnessed everything that happened. We are told that the police officers were actually chasing the occupants of a Camry vehicle. They were stopped on the main Kaswa highway because they were driving in an unregistered vehicle. They were stopped. They did not stop as police told them to do. So police had to give them a hot chase. So some meters from the highway, they stopped very close. They pulled over very close to a shop at Budumburam. We are told by this 13-year-old eyewitness that an altercation ensued, and that resulted, in the shooting. One of the occupants of the vehicle, the driver of the Camry vehicle, we are told, went into his car, took his gun, and then shot the police officer in the head. The 13-year-old eyewitness told us that after the first shot, the police officer rushed into their shop and then fell down. One of the occupants of the vehicle, the driver of the vehicle, got closer and then shot him, for the second time. A second police officer, we are told, was also shot, and there he died in the shop. A lot of the residents we are speaking to have been telling us that they are scared and they are terrified by the incident, especially because, these are police officers who protect them, who protect life and properties. And if police officers are being killed in this manner, they do not know what will happen to them. We here are the residents of one of them, Mohammed Awal. I have a gentleman here who will introduce himself. So what's your name?
Musa Mohammed. Musa Mohammed.
Musa Mohammed. Who are you to Mohammed Awal?
My brother.
Oh, he's your brother. Yeah. You have a condolence. Tell us exactly how you heard this incident.
You speak Chiki.
Oh,
I don't know. I say anopano me free fiba. Many needing komo. Answer na many needing pampamu. Na ewia me okrum kura no mo frem me say.
Nti patches anopa woni ni bon komo.
Many ni bon komo.
Komo be na sa obetimi.
Many needing family hu komo ana.
Okay.
Your papa mu a obi afa no we na me call me juma oni su jecha police for juma.
He's a senior brother.
Yeah.
Well, he says he's a senior brother of Mohammed Awal. Lance Corporal Mohammed Awal was one of the officers killed. And he says that the morning before the incident happened, he had interactions with Mohammed. It was later in the afternoon that he got a call that a shooting has happened. Inti Net was saying,
"Hey, but I know easy. And do not easy. But beginning now, almost shoot but a year, almost call police hospital. Until a year.
Okay.
But perform na almost I know.
Well, he says initially they were informed that although Lance Corporal Mohammed Awal had been shot, he was a bit okay, and they were rushing him to the hospital. But he says later they got information that he didn't make it, he didn't survive. Inti muye Muslims. Inti sisi funeral arrangements no muye na saying.
Say no say ye nia Afri Kumasi. Ebusanfo no nia wo Kumasi ho na wo ye nia. Nti no ebusanfo no agada Kumasi. Say the especially say ke yensa beka body ni na ye de na ko Kumasi na yakoye amamre.
He says all the family members are in Kumasi. He says Mohammed Awal hails from Kumasi, and that's where all the family members are based. So right now they are just waiting to see if they can get the body, the remains of Mohammed Awal, so they can go and bury. Inti sisi aka na ejina asia no nsia no mo kwan fa mo
Kumasi state.
Okay,
Kumasi.
Well, okay, I'll come back to you. He says right now they are going to Kumasi, where the family members are based. But I have you are the wife of Mohammed Awal?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is the wife of Mohammed Awal. I'm told she's also a police woman. How did you at the Castle police station too?
Yes.
How did this happen? I'm sure they've informed you exactly how the whole incident happened.
I'm PW Lunch Copper Patients Doi stationed at Kaswa Dovsu. Yesterday at about 2:30 p.m., we had an information that 2 policemen were shot, but one died at a spot. Abin Mohammed Awal sustained serious injuries, so they rushed him to St. Gregory Hospital for treatment. But they later referred him from the Gregory Hospital to Police Hospital for further treatment. So I later rushed with my brother to the police hospital, but he couldn't survive.
He couldn't survive. He's your husband. How many children do you have together?
I have one child.
You have one child. How old is he?
9 months.
9 months. This is difficult times for the family. And I see the family vehicle. Where are you heading to now?
Kumasi.
Kumasi. What's happening in Kumasi?
I will bury him there. They are from Kumasi.
Okay. But have you concluded, because I hear there are some formalities you'll have to go through before the body is released?
It was the coroner's form that delayed.
Okay.
But we have heard information that they are doing the postmortem. So God willing, by the end of today, they will release the body for us. So we want to take the lead.
Okay. You are not only a police officer, you're not only a police woman. You were very close to him. He was your husband. Tell me, how has this affected your morale?
But it has affected me totally because I won't see him.
I wish I could just continue with this interview, but unfortunately we cannot continue with this interview. We just heard from the wife of Mohammed Awal and telling you about how the whole incident happened. It's a sad moment here, but this is the vehicle we are taking to Kumasi, where the funeral, will be happening. And this city is just waiting for some formalities to be concluded before, the body will be released to them. So this is what is happening here at the home of one of the police officers, one of the policemen who was killed yesterday, Lance Corporal Mohammed Awal. But before we go, though, let's find out from the wife for the last time, what kind of person was he? What kind of person was Mohammed Awal?
He was a nice person.
Thank you very much, Maxwell. We'll have to end it here. We'll bring you more on this in subsequent bulletins. Our condolences to the families once again. Away from the attack on police officers, the suspended CEO of the Public Procurement Authority is expected to meet the Special Prosecutor, Martin Omidu, later today, or he was expected to meet him in the early hours of Thursday, August 29, over his alleged involvement in a contract for sales scandal. The meeting follows the President's referral of the CEO to Special Prosecutor after investigative work by journalist Manasseh Azuri-Awuni unearthed corruption at Government's Central Procurement Authority. The President has also referred his appointee to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ. At both statutory bodies, the President wants Mr. Jenny Boateng-Eje investigated over conflict of interest allegations after he is said to have formed a company that sold government contracts to the highest bidder. Meanwhile, the opposition NDC is demanding the outright dismissal of the suspended CEO as well as the dissolution of the authority's board. Director of Communications, Sami Jainfi, believes the suspension of the PPA boss is inadequate. He spoke at a news conference Wednesday, August 28 at the party's headquarters.
The President has resorted to his usual face-saving gimmicks by suspending the Chief Executive Officer of the PPA pending investigations by the Special Prosecutor and SHRAJ into the matter. But it is the view of the NDC, ladies and gentlemen, that the suspension of Mr. ABAJ, to all intents and purposes, is not deterrent enough. We think that the damning acts of corruption which Mr. ABAJ is captured in the Donkomi documentary as engaging in, including his own admissions and confessions, should have at worst been met with an outright dismissal for other actions to follow. The suspension of the CEO of the PPA, Mr. ABAJ, is totally useless and meaningless until it is linked to the immediate dissolution of the PPA board. We say so because it was the PPA board which, despite knowing that Mr. ABAJ is a shareholder of TDL, went ahead to approve the award of as many as 14 contracts to the company under restricted tender, in flagrant disregard for the public procurement law and in contravention of all acceptable principles of fairness and openness.
You heard that Sami Jainfi, he's Communications Officer of the NDC, not Director of Communications. Now, another problem that successive governments have had to deal with apart from corruption is the lack of jobs. And many times there have been a lot of promises, but they fail to make any meaningful impact. In our citizen-driven series dubbed Diananado, we put a spotlight on this challenge and how government says it is dealing with the situation. The mini-documentary tells the stories of ordinary people, family men and women who are struggling to survive because they have no jobs. In their message to the President, they reiterate his promise to build factories that would create jobs across the country. Jojo Kopena has the rest of the story from the Accra suburb of Nungua.
It is my pleasure to announce that during the period under review, a total of 611,397 jobs were created in the formal sector. Out of this figure, the ministries, departments, and agencies accounted for 343,458 jobs, whilst the former private sector also created 267,939 jobs. The ever-famous Planting for Food and Jobs program is estimated to have created 1,593 jobs from 2017 to date.
One district, one factory, and one district, one dam. And I say, Obaman quality, Okosqua, Ombenya, Adriani, Bibi accommodation. And I say, Oba, Obeti, electricity bosso, Oba, Casso, Obeti, Habo, price now, duty a costro, Obetiso. First, now, me talk prepaid a month, we talk more than 300 Ghana cedis a month, and I 400. But now, in Nihosa, that time, no.
Kwame JC is a proud member of the NPP in the Krowo constituency of the Greater Accra region. He brandishes a card to show his commitment to the party and touts the achievements of President Nana Akufo-Addo.
Me MPP ni a me kasa se me MPP ni am enti a me chese me MPP ni enini. Nungwa se a me wo. Me hu kra ma hu se omo ye park. Ewo oko Nautica. Omo ye park wo se a. Oko see water hon ma mo ye ayi blocks. Ice block.
It was at this point that he became a lone ranger. Many of the people who were eavesdropping on his conversation sharply disagreed with him. Then they started heckling him. That even includes a young man who claimed he campaigned for the NPP.
I mean, you MPP, carry the yen in Ibeco, be a bit Tyler, he a massive fair machine at the Tratal. By no tomorrow,
Many residents of Nungwa gathered here are politically active. Kwame concedes that the president still has many promises to fulfill, especially creating jobs and also establish factories to give the youth more jobs.
So, and he said, Omu Juma, Saturday man, Emma. So that's it. And the program, because Nippon to one man, to say beyond send ye kidnapping crop, and the Nippon to one accommodate will be a channel you can crave part. I walk away at the end. We won't be a semi trolley time on Nadwa, Nemeka and say, Mistrano, Nana, Mestro, Wakola, and Eddie Assembly to him. As I say, Nungwa, especially Nungwa, my 24 years, under 25 years. Maybe I mean, who abandoned me a Coswaha. And you for a one Nungwaha, yes, Ron said, but me, I'm a beer company, who has a you for a one Nungwasi, and you be a.
I really vote for him. I really vote for Nana Akufo-Addo. Yeah, I vote for him.
Samuel Adokwe lost his job last year. His company needed to cut down cost of production, so he was laid off. Securing another job has been difficult.
Yeah, I do remember he promised that he will bring one factory and one district. That's what's killing me now, because as I'm talking to you right now, I don't have work. I'm not working. I was working at PFC Pioneer at Fishy Harbour, and all of a sudden they just call us and announce that there is a lighting system problem that is doing so. So some of us have to go home and then we'll be called later. But up to now, they have not called us. I get 2 wives and I get 6 kids. Yeah, I'm proud of that. Yeah, but I just want to work and then take care of them.
Ika ka abotu ivotu ekwekodo ni naka meni woni ka ma akashi ichaka enjwo ni nte kukurudu na me wa mi amefe mi target amefe ekome mo ekodo mo bi ashi isumo maji ehin ni mo no ko yin baba oba na ni matun abo ichaka enjwo nye bi si lo be me gboyin jinye be me gboyin jinye nye kwa anye shi na jogba e wa to wa
Kosa Development Authority be headed by Jerry Amend. And my son, eno be sang wa ko enu wa hu no wa na no wa jageshi and call me like aba my toilet e be I can no scam me I can get e shona e ko ye kro we ko o ma hin yin lo no pe ton lo le ake $1 million na ke ba no kro constituency alo wo popa no no ni akefe ne toilet enyo ni mi na no se aka mo ye kuma no en na ko no report amane bo ni to ni ga wo de ne.
Some residents are, however, aware of some toilet facilities being constructed under the one constituency $1 million promise. This toilet is an example. It should bring joy to residents here. However, they are not too happy. Residents say an old toilet facility was closed down and a new one built, but for almost 4 months, a new facility has not been opened for use.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I pay toilet. Much Nkwame fashion I'm back below. She dag me baby coming back or come like a man again. Me piwi and shona. Me pishin we and banana jebeke I said to then ma be a kakon and lin ba or shona can you train say no. Can she mo fiamu.
So although money has been spent on this project, residents are yet to benefit from it.
Dada and I see no more sabe mono hana maintain so more sabe and mono for no one decorative ba kona mananya den anya ye na ni na so e wait e skase ye kwa diga me fi se ba kono so no e toilet ni bebre wo mu chan oni ya ye no disa ka omu ya ne ka omu decorative anu me yusu ya no an ka no ka boa ni na asa ko e skase ye because ka omu ye dada ana nka no ye nim ne nti omsan ye foforo be kan ho ye fesa ko mbabie na man for course because toilet kan na jo a ese na te ko no ha sabe ne ba bi akọ toilet.
Aside this concern, some residents are asking for accountability. They want to know how much government has spent from the 1 million one constituency fund.
Amen. Look of you know me just am be ale at deba. Allo be na me jesi na me che wash ji na me na ke sika wa fe ye na me fe hu sana me ma bi ale da be da ole me ni total cost kwa ole me ni cost.
A people brimming with hope say that has been displaced by a cloud of doubt. Lately, despair.
Our president Nana Akufo-Addo, yeah, you promised us that you give us job. That is one factory, one district. But up to now, we have not seen anything. And that's what's worrying me now. That's my point. Because as of now, I'm not working. Yeah, so please, you promised us and you have to fulfill it. It's not too late. If you say you want to do it, you do it for us. We are still waiting. If not, we'll change our mind.
And that's this week's edition of GNNR. But still to come in business here on News Today, Petroleum Commission makes recommendation on fate of redundant oil block holders in the country. Do stay for details.